So in these videos I'm going to show you how to make yourself an infinity scarf. It's a cowl neck and it's just made in one roll. This is a part done one, so you can see here it gives you the idea of how it looks, and it's got one twist in it. You can make them twisted or straight, that's entirely up to you. The main thing to see, so we have, this is how it looks when it's flat. It'd be a lot wider than this because it's only a part done one is this one, but it should look the same on both sides, and that's what we're trying to create. If you do a straight cowl, it'll just be like a tube, which is ideal if you want to lift it so it goes up above your nose if you're doing a brisk walk or out walking the dog or something and want to keep yourself all snugly warm. But you can also have a twist in it like this, which will just sit nicely around your neck. I'll show you how to do either of these options as we go along. So we're using, for this we're using the Signet Sprinkles Pop yarn. It is a chunky yarn. For this one I've already taken the ball band off, but this is the one I'm going to have a look at, which is called Tutti Frutti. There are lots of these available. You would normally use a 5 or a 6mm hook with these, but for this particular pattern we're actually going to go big and we're going to use a 10mm. So to start with, we need to make a chain. So let's do our slip knot. So for doing a slip knot, if you pop your yarn over your finger, and this is the tail end of the yarn and the long part is the working end, and I want you to take the tail, it's not the tail, sorry, the working yarn behind the tail, so it's going in the direction of your thumb but you're not crossing your thumb, okay? So it's going in this direction and then it's going across that yarn and across your fingernail like so. And when you tip it, you should be able to see the two loops, and there's the cross. I want you to take this back loop over the top of the front one and off your finger, and then pull the tail like so. And you can see that the knot's formed here. Then transfer this to your hook, and then pull on the long working yarn. And that'll take it up to your hook. And the idea is you want it to be able to slide along your hook, but you don't want it to actually just drop off. Now I am going to be showing you this right-handed, but if anybody out there does need a left-handed video, please let me know and I will do my best to do one for you. So for this we're now going to do our chains. For the cowl necks I recommend between 60 and 70 chains. Don't worry too much about the count, it's not crucial whether you have the exact number of chains on there, or if you have an odd one or two extra. The main thing is to actually do your chain and then hold it around your neck and make sure that the thing itself will fit and you're happy with its position. You can do a super long cowl, which means that you'll be able to wrap it around your neck twice. For this you'll need 2 balls of wool and you do double the amount of chains, so about 120. So we're going to start doing our chains. The way I do it is I place my finger on here so I can move that chain up and down, and it just keeps it in place. That's all I'm doing there, is to stop it actually just twizzling around the hook. So I put my finger there, I take the yarn always goes to the back and then over the top of the hook towards you, and then it goes, so it's gone all the way around. I then take the slip knot, finger and thumb of my left hand, so look, I can do this all in my left hand, and then as I move the hook along you can see that it catches the yarn here in the neck of the hook, and I turn that down to the floor. So it starts off at facing the ceiling, I turn it down towards the floor, and then I take it through that one that's already on the hook, and that is your first chain. Okay, so I'll show you that again. So it's yarn over the top and all the way around, slide it along, it catches there in the neck, turn it down to the floor and pull it through. If you do really struggle with this, don't worry if you have to do it a little bit easier and you do the yarn over and then you literally take this loop and lift it off with your fingers. Okay, don't worry if that's how you do it to start with, it's a technique that will come to you eventually. And as I say, I want you to carry on doing around 60 or 70 of these chains, just so it's long enough to go around your neck. But again, the count is not crucial. I will show you in a moment how you can count these, but first we'll need to get quite a long chain going. So if you need to replay that part just to get used to doing the chain and have a bit of a practice. If you find that your chain is all over the place, don't worry too much. Here's mine, and that's the back of the chain, and that's the front of it. And there are some chains bigger than other ones, and I'm not worried. It's because we're using quite a big hook here to keep it all nice and loose to make it easier for the next stages. So I'm just going to continue doing this chain, and then when we get closer I will show you how to count them. If you do notice though that your chain is very, very tight, so much smaller than what mine is, it could be that you're doing a lot of your work in the neck here. So when you do your yarn over, make sure you're always bringing this up here into the barrel of the hook. If you work it down here and everything is happening down here in this little bit, it gets really tight and they get really small. You need to make sure you lift them up into that barrel. And don't worry, you won't be doing it quite as quickly as this to start, but this just gives you an idea. So you can see my chain is quite messy too, so don't worry. And then I'm going to turn it over so you can see the top of my chain just now, so I can show you how to quickly count them. Actually, I haven't got too many on here yet, and certainly not enough. But just so you can see the front and the back. So you'll see it's quite a few of mine are loose as well, so really don't worry too much, as long as they're not way too tight, because that'll make it more difficult for the next round. So hopefully though you can see that you've got like a little plait going on. So as I say, this is quite loose, but you can see it more clearly in some of the tighter areas, and they're like little V's. And those are your chains. Now this is the front of your chain. If you were to turn this over, you can see that there's what we call this back bump running through the chains. So that helps us to know that that's the back of the chain. So we normally start counting from the hook, so that's where the hook would be. We don't count the loop that's actually sat on the hook. We start with the first V around it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Okay, I think actually, yeah, I have shown you it on the back side, but not to worry. But you can see, so each one of these V's is a chain. You start from the hook, and you work it all the way down to the end here. So you can see the V's again going down. This one is your slip knot, so don't count this part here. This I can use. So we have one there, and then this one here is actually the last chain. But again, don't worry too much, it's not crucial for this, but it's just so that you've got an idea going forward for other things. So I'm going to continue and do that chain until it's long enough, and then I will show you the next stage. So when your chain is long enough, so if you hold it together like so, and you're happy that this goes around your neck and sits where you want it to do, then we're ready for the next step. And that is to look to take your hand, run it down the chain, and look for the end one. So the end one where your slip knot is. And we're going to look for that end chain, which is there. So you can see you've got that the V, and that's the back bump that's on the opposite side. So I've just pulled it apart so you can see it. And we're going to go into this last chain and just under one of the strands like that. And it's going to sit on your hook. So you'll look like you've got them together like so. And then I want you to do yarn over the top, and then I want you to take that yarn over through that first one and then through that second one like so. And that is a slip stitch, and it is just to join them together. And this is a good point just to double check this over your head now they're linked, and just to test it over your head to make sure it fits okay. And now if you're right-handed, we're going to continue going around this circle like so, and we're going to introduce you now to a half treble stitch. So a half treble, you want to do your yarn over as before. Make sure your yarn goes all the way to the back here, and you bring your work forwards, and then you're looking for your next chain along. So I've used this one here where I did the slip stitch, so I'm going to go into there, I push my hook in like so, and I have 3 loops on, I then do yarn over, and I'm going to take it through that first loop, like so. There are 3 loops on there. I'm going to do yarn over again and take it through those 3 loops. So to repeat that, we're going to do yarn over, make sure it goes all the way around so that you can actually let go of it and bring your work forwards, okay? And then you're looking for that next chain, which is there. You go into that chain and you've got 3 loops on there. If you don't have 3 loops on there, you've missed something somewhere. Okay, so just take it off and repeat. 3 loops, yarn goes all the way around, so it goes over the top and round, and you take it through that first loop. You then do yarn over and take it through those 3 loops. Okay, if you can't do all 3 at once, you can do one by one. So I'll show you again. Yarn over all the way around, pick up your work so it comes to the front. Look for that next chain. So you can see I'm going under each of these strands here. So this one now, into there. Yarn over, take that first one off. You have 3 still. Yarn over, and as I say, if you need to, take off the first one, then take off the second one, and then the third one. So it'll look a little bit like that. Now I want you to carry on doing this all the way around until you get back to the start and go in the last chain, and then I'll show you how to connect them and also show you whether or not you have a twisted one or a straight one and how to change it. So hopefully when you get all the way around, it will look something like this. So this is where my tail is, where we started, and I can see that this is my chain row going all the way around on the inside here when I lay it flat. And these are my stitches, because you can see the plaits at the top and the chain is only a tight little loops going around. So this one currently is going to be a straight cowl neck. So if that's what yours looks like and you want it to be straight, then perfect, we'll carry on to the next stage. If you did want to have a twist in there, the easiest way to do this is actually just to take this side. So this is where I'm about to join them. So take this side and then turn it 360 degrees. So that's it, halfway and then back. And that will just put a little twist in it there. It's only one twist, but trust me, that will be enough. Otherwise it'll become quite just a roll on your neck, and then you're going to secure it in position. So to do that, look for we're now looking at these stitches. So if I tip them towards yourself, hopefully you can see this plait again with the little V's, and I want you just to put your hook, no yarn over this time, just straight under that first V like that. I want you to take your yarn over and pull it through that V, and then take it straight through the other one too. And that's it locked into place, ready to carry on. So now how it's worked is that we're just going to go all the way around this continuously now. There won't need to be any more slip stitches. We're just going to do the same stitch all the way around, basically until you've run out of wool. And when that happens, it's just a case of finishing off and weaving in your end. So I'll explain that part in a moment, but first we're doing exactly the same stitch as before, but if you turn your work towards you, as I say, you should be able to see these V's. Now normally in crochet we would work under the V, which means going under both of those strands, but it depends on your pattern. In this case it's a back loop pattern, so we'd go under this back one. Now a tip from me is that when this gets quite loose, as it does, if you tip it too much, you may be able to see that you've got 1, 2, and then this third loop becomes apparent. Might not see it every stitch, and you might realise straight away that that's not the one you want, but it can happen. And if you tip it and see that as your V, and then you go under this back loop, and that will give you a completely different texture to your cowl neck. To be honest, it's not a bad thing. It can look quite nice, but it won't be reversible, so it won't look the same on both sides like I showed you at the beginning. So a tip from me would be to look purposely for those 3 and always go under the middle or the top one. Okay, so you're doing exactly the same stitch as before, it's just slightly paying more attention to where you're putting it. So it's yarn over and it goes all the way to the back. Okay, so you can let it go and pick up your work, and then there's the 1 and there's the 2, that's the middle or the back. So into there, yarn over, take it through that one, yarn over again and take it through all 3 of them. So I'll show you that a couple more times. So it's yarn over all the way around, 1, 2, 3, into that one, 3 loops, yarn over, take it through the first one, still 3 loops, yarn over, take it through all 3. Okay, as you get quicker at this, you will find yourself doing yarn over into that loop, and you'll automatically grab that yarn and bring it through. You might not even realize you're doing it, but just take care for that, because that means you've already done that yarn over and through the first one. So don't be tempted then to do yarn over and through another one and then yarn over through 3, because then you'll get what we call an extended half treble. It'll get taller and it will make this a bit more gappier pattern. So it's always yarn over into your stitch, yarn over through that one, yarn over through 3. And I just want you to carry on all the way around in a spiral. When you get back to here, just continue past it. Just carry on, don't stop until you run out of yarn. As I say, I had one that was part done here. It's not quite finished yet, but it gives you the idea. So you can see how that's developing. And when you run out of yarn, all you'll need to do is, if you imagine that is the end of your yarn, pop that through your loop and pull it tight. And then you'll just have a tail end at both here and at the start. And what you can do is just then take a needle and just weave it in and out of your stitches. And your infinity scarf is now ready to wear. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you've got any questions, just feel free to ask me and pop them into the group, or just send me a message. I look forward to seeing your creations.